Welcome to GPS Your Health, where we help you navigate our ever-changing healthcare system. I'm Robin Denton, your host. If you've ever felt lost in the medical system, overwhelmed by options, or unheard by the very people meant to help you, you are not alone. Here, we believe that God cares deeply about your health and your purpose. The enemy may be trying to keep you stuck in sickness, but there is hope. When you invite God into your healing journey, He will give you wisdom, direction, and He'll bring the right people that you need at just the right time, because He is the great physician. As you listen, I ask that you keep an open mind. Healing doesn't always look the way we expect. It didn't for me. And many are finding true, lasting wellness through holistic approaches that care for the body, mind, and spirit. Remember, what the sun sets free is free indeed. Oh, and one more thing, be sure to grab your free copy of 7 Qualities to Look For in a Doctor to help you get started in the right direction. The link is below, and let's get started. Here, everyone. I'm Robin Denton, founder of GPS Your Health and the Healed podcast, and I am here with Casey Conrad. Casey is the author of, this is her latest book, Make Yourself Healthy Again. She has others, correct?
Actually, that's not my latest one. I got another one since then.
Sorry, my bad. Okay. Casey is, oh my goodness, she's done so many things. We are so lucky to have her on here to talk to us today. Casey, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I own and operate this wellness studio here in Dandridge, Tennessee, Eastern Tennessee, for those of you that don't know it. And what we do here is that we do all energetic modalities. So we believe that the body can heal itself if given the right environment. And so we have created this incredible environment here where we use a whole slew of light, sound, and earth or air. So anyway, that's now about me. That's about where we are right now. I actually grew up as an athlete, went to school, got a degree in international business, became an attorney a little bit later on, went to night school. But after my undergraduate degree, I went to work for the government, International Trade Administration, Department of Commerce. And in a very short period of time, I realized I was not going to do well in that environment. I was way too entrepreneurial. Yeah. So much to my parents' extreme disappointment, I turned in all my suits for sweatpants. And I went to work for a fitness center because I had done martial arts in college and had done sales and ran the studio and things like that. So it was easy for me. I thought it was just going to be like a temporary, like a intermediary,
I can see you doing martial arts.
Yes, but kickboxing. But so anyway, long story short, I fell in love with the industry and I moved up very quickly in that organization. They had like 40 something locations down in Washington, D.C. And then in 1989, without a single plan, I decided to go start my own business. And I was in the business side of fitness. So I worked with fitness studios and health clubs on how to be more successful.
Nice.
And I did that a decade. And then I decided I wanted to maybe get married and have kids. And so I needed a more stable job instead of traveling so much. And I started a women's weight loss center in our town that very quickly became an overnight sensation. And we ended up growing it to 122 locations before we sold out of that. That's another story altogether. But so that was kind of like the bridge from just fitness to fitness and nutrition.
Okay.
And lifestyle, because we required stress reduction.
Oh,
we required it. It was mandatory. Once a week, we had to come into our relaxation chair, and we had aromatherapy, steam aromatherapy. And then we had optional beauty treatments. We had cellulite treatments.
Okay.
So anyway, that I created a new weight loss program that actually went into facilities instead of being standalone. and then a back problem, my own personal medical crisis,
Yeah.
brought me into the naturopathic world.
Yeah.
And it's just unfolded since then.
Yeah.
You know? So that's a really short answer.
Really short.
61, 37 years in the industry.
Casey has done so many things and speaks around the world and travels around the world speaking, and just an amazing wealth of knowledge. But we are here today. We're going to zero in on something called the Bemer mat. So tell us, how did you kind of get in hooked up with Bemer?
Yeah. So my back journey brought me into the world of essential oils and naturopathic therapies. That introduced me to a whole new box of friends that were into more energetic modalities, right?
Yes.
I mean, Reiki and things that, I mean, I was the daughter of a surgeon father and a nurse mother, right? So like,
wow. I didn't know that.
Naturopathic, cut it, prescribe it, you know, even though they weren't pill pushers. My dad was real conservative. He was old school, you know, so like you only gave antibiotics in a life or death situation, unlike people today. But so this was like totally new to me. One of those associates, I got to know better, and my mom was living with me at the time, and my mom had a lot of health issues. She'd been living with me for, I think, 2.5, 3 years at the time, and was suffering. I mean, really suffering. She was losing the will to live. And I took her to Mayo. I took her to the Leahy Clinic. I mean, we tried everything. And a friend called me one day and said, "Hey, Casey, you need to get your mother a Bemer." I said, "She's not even driving anymore." Right? And he's like, "No, not that kind of Bemer." I said, "Well, I didn't know there was any other kind of Bemer." Right? He says, "No, it stands for bioelectromagnetic energy regulation." I said, "I have never heard of it." Now, I'm not trying to brag. I've been in 24 countries speaking in the fitness industry. I had never heard of this. And he sent me a video that showed this blood flow. And I took one look at it and I was like it clicked. Like without blood flow, your body is not going to do well, right? No. Yeah. And we can get more into the details of that. So anyway, so he called me. And of course, the attorney in me was like, "Scam, no way. You know, how could modern medicine here in the United States not know about this if it was so..." Yeah. It was like, truly unbelievable, his results. Yeah. But I had no reason not to believe him. He was a friend. I mean, I knew he wasn't trying to like just get me to buy something. And they're an investment, right? So I took 30 days to put on my best research hat and went down the rabbit hole with this thing. And I couldn't find anything that discredited. In fact, the more I dug, the more I was like, why don't we know about this? Yeah. And so finally, I ended up talking to 2 doctors on the West Coast. One was an osteopath. Okay. And one was a functional medicine doctor. Okay. And both of them, independent of one another, completely 2 different referral sources, said to me, "Casey, this is the single most extraordinary thing we have ever seen in our practice before, and now all our patients go on it." Wow. So it is huge, and it's rare. Still to this day, it's rare, right? We're still, fighting regardless of all the things, good things that are going on in the world. RFK Jr. But anyway, so I was like, okay, well, and I couldn't go try one. The closest one was 5 hours away. It's an 8-minute therapy, right? It's 8 minutes. And I was like, and you're really technically supposed to do it twice a day. Yeah. So the company had this amazing guarantee with the product, and they still do. And I was like, all right. You dove in. I dove in, sight unseen. Got Mama Bemer. The story of putting her on it is hysterical because it got to our house at like 6 o'clock at night on a Friday. And of course, being the type A person I am, I didn't open up the instruction manual. I just opened up, I saw the quick start. I'll press this button and that one. I put my mother on it and she's like, "Oh, it's warming." And my mother was always cold because she had a circulation issue. Mine does too. "Oh, it's tingling." I was like, "Oh, that's interesting," right? I hadn't used it yet. And within 2 minutes, she was sound asleep. And I'm not talking
Oh.
about sleep, I'm talking about
Gosh.
snoring. And then, so I go out to the kitchen. I'm like, let me let her relax. And I open up the manual and it says, do not use with alcohol within 30 minutes of alcohol. I was like, oh, I stayed there till 2 in the morning listening to her breathe because I was so afraid was going to give her alcohol poisoning. Right. So anyway, long story short, I didn't get any feedback from her that night. Right. She was asleep.
Well, yeah.
And didn't want to.
Probably would have been good feedback though.
Yeah, would have been good feedback. So the next morning I get up and my routine with my mom was I would go over early in the morning to feed the cat so the cat wouldn't wake her up. And she usually get up around 10.
Okay. Yes.
I go over there, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. She's up vacuuming.
I knew she was gonna be there. I knew she was gonna be
She
there.
was like, I don't know what that thing was, but it's a magic carpet, is what she called it.
Magic
She called it a
carpet.
magic carpet because it's like a mat, you know?
Yeah.
And it sounds, literally, it sounds too good to be true. And it's 11 years now, right? Been using the Bemer 11 years. Her life completely changed overnight. Within 2 weeks,
Wow.
the issue she was having externally, and I can't tell her story, we're not allowed to for compliance purposes, it was gone. Where everybody else said, there's nothing we can do, we got to give you methotrexate, kill your immune system. And not only was she physically so much better, but of course, she was happier.
Well, she had hope.
Yeah.
You gave her hope more importantly than anything.
Every day. And so after 2 weeks, I was like, well, it's in my house. Maybe I should get on this thing. She was down in the apartment, mother-in-law's apartment.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I'll start using it. So I started using it. And after 2 weeks, I called my friend and I'm like, this is such the placebo. I don't feel a thing. No warming, no tingling, no. I mean, when I say nothing at the 2 week mark, I mean nothing. Now, caveat. Super fit, super healthy.
Yeah, right.
So that, but he says, no, Casey, stick with it. You're so damn healthy, it's going to take a while. And I was like, okay, well, why not? It's in my house. It's not going back.
Right.
Mom was like, oh, no.
Mom's in.
She's like, if I have to buy this, I'll buy it. I'm like, no, of course not.
Of course not.
So then at about 3 weeks, I was like, am I noticing a little more energy in the afternoon? Now, I'm not a low energy person, clearly, right?
Trust me.
But,
no further from the
you know, in 2:30, 3 o'clock, you think to yourself,
yeah,
little tea or something like that.
Well, right.
Yeah, exactly. And that's normal. That's circadian rhythms, right? That's normal. But I wasn't having that. And then at 4 weeks, my low back started to feel better. Now, I was L4, L5 compressed bulging degenerative.
Okay.
That's what they wanted to do surgery in, and I refused.
Yeah.
And then at 5 weeks, I started to sleep through the night without having to get up to pee.
But
if you're a 50-year-old woman plus and you don't have to get up at night, that's amazing.
If you're a friend of mine, you're tracking with us.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was when I started to really like, this is interesting. And then at 3 months, all of a sudden, I was like, man, what is going on with my vision when you reading something? And I took my reading glasses off and it was like, that's clear. Wow. So I was like, okay, now I really need to go find out what's going on. So I flew down to Florida to attend a 3-day academy to learn about it. Yeah. And the rest literally is history. I became an absolute Bemer fanatic. And it now, I mean, we have 6 of them here in our center. And it doesn't matter what someone comes here for, if they're coming here for a foot bath or an ozone or, a Vasia or whatever it is, they get Bemer first. Unless there's only a few people that can't get on one, contraindications. But that's how much and how strongly we feel about it.
So tell me exactly, the Bemer, what does it do? It increases circulation. So tell us more.
More importantly, it increases microcirculation. So let me just take a little detour here for some education. So your body has a circulatory system, and it's made up of three primary vessels. I'm being big picture here, so if you're a medical person, I know this is big picture. It's arteries, veins, and microvessels, which are primarily called capillaries. They're made up of capillaries and these other little things called arterioles and venules that connect them, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, only the arteries that bring blood out of the heart only represent 11.5% of your circulatory system. Veins, which bring the deoxygenated blood back, only represent 14.5. That's 26%.
Mm-hmm.
The other 74% are microvessels that are 1/3 to 1/7 the diameter of a strand of hair.
Wow.
And it is only, and this is the most important thing, Robin, it is only in the microvessels where oxygen and nutrients are delivered to the cells and metabolic waste, carbon dioxide, and toxins are removed.
Wow.
Only there, right? So think of it this way. Your arteries and veins are the highways, but if you're driving down, I-81 and you get hungry or you got to pee, you got to get off the exit, arterial, go into a smaller street and get to a house or a place, the cell, pick up or drop off and go back and then get back on the highway. So why this is important is because when you're young and healthy, you have this process where blood is perfused into all of that 74% about 3 to 4 times a minute, 3 to 5 times a minute. As you age, it starts to go down. So when you hit 40 and you go, right? And so we start to see what happens when our cells aren't getting as much oxygen. This is the natural aging process. But why is it that so many people are so sick now so much earlier than before? Because all metabolic disorders dramatically decline that process. So if you are overweight, if you are obese, if you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, if you have any blood sugar dysregulation, or for sure a diabetic, that process is accelerating, which is going to absolutely accelerate the aging process.
Well, our bodies are just not able to deal with the toxic overload that we get from our water, our air, even things that are supposed to be good for us are contaminated now. So our bodies weren't meant to really deal with that.
And that's just another factor on top of all the ones that I just said.
Okay.
But here's the real kick in the pants.
Okay. Kick me.
This is gonna get better. I'll give you the positive side here in a minute. The number one influencer for reduced microcirculation, and by the way, before I give you the punchline, if you have reduced microcirculation, here's what starts to happen. You start to feel more tired more quickly. So you can't pull all-nighters or stay up late and get up early. You start to have sleep disruption. You start to walk into a room and go, what the heck did I walk into the room for? Right? You start to have joint discomfort. You can and then it becomes this a snowball. But the number one acute influencer of reduced microcirculation, stress. When you go into a fight or flight, and that could be something as simple as someone cuts you off in a car, or maybe you get a bad phone call, or your boss at work ticks you off, whatever it is, right? Kids do something stupid. For about 30 minutes, your body, because we used to need to run from the bear, your body actually shunts more blood to your large organs so you can run faster, and it reduces the microcirculation. So this is why, and I always use this example, Like look at President Obama, look at President Clinton, look at Bush. These people went into office when they were younger, in the 40s, and look at in 8 years.
Huge difference.
Right? I mean, and any president in 4 years,
Yeah.
right? You look at the
Huge
difference, and that's a stress response.
Yeah.
No matter that the fact that their life is you think their life is wonderful because they're president, the amount of stress on a daily basis for managing the country is extreme. So now we've had presidents that dye their hair, Ronald Reagan dyed his hair, and but the bottom line is that you might know somebody who's been in a bad, stressful situation, whether it be marriage or sick parents, sick kid, and you run into them 6 months later, and then you turn to your husband or your wife and you say, he looks like crap.
Yeah.
He's aged a lot.
Yeah.
And that's literally, now, that usually they get a little bit better when the stress reduces because now the microcirculation is working better. But to answer your question, Bemer actually retrains the body to do what it naturally used to do. So 3 times a minute when you get on the Bemer, and it's got a cumulative effect for about 24 hours, although if you own one, you should get on it twice a day. We have people that come here to our center and get on it 3 times a week, and they notice a huge difference, right? But Bemer supports the microcirculation, and that's the most important piece, because a lot of people hear a webinar like this or a podcast like this, and they say, oh, I'll go online and I'll go look at, and I'll find one, and they go, look at this. This one is a fraction of the cost, and it says it does everything. You need to look at the science, because Bemer truly is. And again, you're watching this, I don't know you from a hole in the wall, right? But I'm going to tell you right now, Bemer is the only scientifically proven, peer-reviewed, research published device that is proven to increase microcirculation.
Yeah. You know who I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about all the people on Sunday night who are all in a spin because they have to go to work on Monday and they are so unhappy at their jobs.
Yep. For sure.
Just living in that.
And here's the interesting thing. So physiologically, and I don't know how much you want to go deep into the science here, because I can go down in the weeds. I volunteer my time to teach academies around the country for the Bemer Company, because I love it so much and I love to teach. But one of the most important things that Bemer does, because of supporting the body's natural blood flow process, is it puts the body back into a parasympathetic state. So it literally relaxes, and it's partly, I don't want to go down the weeds, it's the frequency that's emitted that helps to mimic the Schumann frequency of the earth, which is a very grounding frequency. And people say, oh, I'll just go get a grounding mat, or I'll go walk outside. That's great for the grounding, but that's not going to help the circulation. That's a natural aging process.
So show us Casey's sitting in the Bemer.
So there are these mats that you have here. Okay, this is an older version mat that literally this is the same model that I bought my mother 11 years ago. And there are newer ones. There's a box that goes with it. And then there are also applicators for localized therapy. So if you have a neck issue, you can put it around your neck. I use this around my low back, and I use it 2-3 times a day. The actual, what I call wellness session, 8 minutes a day, you only need it twice a day if you have it in your home. This I can use every 2 hours on my back, and this is 3 times the power of the systemic body therapy. And then there are targeted therapies. This happens to be our red light pack, which can be used either for, just like you'd use red light for anything else, or a little beauty application. But this lens changes, and another one goes in it that is for localized discomfort. So like if I fell and I landed on my elbow, I'd immediately come in and I would use this on my elbow. And if I did that, I'd use it for 20 minutes, and I do it every 2 hours.
Okay.
So I call this the boo-boo box, because really, I mean, and like the other day, a woman was having some sinus congestion. She came in here, whoop, and she couldn't believe it after 8 minutes how much her sinuses opened up.
Nice.
I had a guy come in here just this week. His knee, it's been bothering him, and he got up off the chair after just 8 minutes, and he's like, I can't believe my knee doesn't hurt nearly as much in 8 minutes.
That's amazing.
So yeah, so it's pretty extraordinary. And then there are other things that it does.
From the top of the chair all the way down to the floor.
Yeah. So basically, if you're tall, it goes from like your calves to your shoulders. It doesn't matter because it's an inductive charge. So when you're on it, your body is literally being encompassed with a healthier signal that stimulates the blood circulation. But it does some other things.
Okay. What else?
Number one, it helps improve ATP, adenine triphosphate production in the body, which is your energy cells. And the Bemer signal, actually, if you think of for those of you old enough to remember having to put water in your battery, okay, you might remember that you had all these cells, right? 8 cells on the top of your battery in the old days. And one of your cells might have died, but the others were enough to turn it over, but you got to a certain point where the battery died, right? Yeah. So the same is true with your cells. If your cells are losing oxygen and then you have an injury, like a low back, a neck, a knee, or something like that, now you have scar tissue. Now you have a real barrier to getting the blood in there because your microcirculation is not working well, right? So now you start to have deterioration of cell tissue. That's why we start to get fine lines and wrinkles. Yeah. In essence, your skin is your largest organ, right? This is why people get on Bemer, and usually within 2 weeks they say, is it possible that this is making my skin? Yeah. It's working from the inside out, right? Bemer signal will go around any cell. So where it works like a cascade effect, it will go around the cells. And now over time, those cells start to get kind of an inductive charge from that signal. And so you start to get more vibrant, get more energy. Yeah. And it also increases, and I won't go too far down the rabbit hole because this gets really into the weeds. It increases a protein in the body called ICAM1, which helps increase the stickiness of the cell wall. Okay. So the white blood cells can work more effectively. So, for example, I used to get a sinus infection every February. I haven't had one in 10 years. Not anymore. Now, again, it's not Bemer that did that. It's the body that does that with a strong immune system. Bemer's only supporting blood flow. The bottom line is Bemer just makes everything better. It really does.
Well, when you improve your blood flow and you improve your cells, you improve everything.
Yeah. No, it truly is extraordinary. And we've got, $250,000 worth of equipment in here. And I say to people all the time, God forbid anything was gonna, go down here, I would grab as many of the boxes of the Bemers as I possibly could, which cost less than a lot of the other therapies. But a lot of the other therapies are more targeted for a very narrow thing, where Bemer, in my opinion, is the single most important therapy at home that anyone could bring into their life. Yeah. Anyone.
Well, I would love to come back sometime and learn about some other therapies that you're doing here.
And we didn't even talk about this beforehand, but let me just make your listeners an offer. I'll give Robin a link to the chapter in my book, Make Yourself Healthy Again. That the whole chapter, like no strings attached, nothing like that, just so that you can have it and you can read more about the science behind it. I mean, look, NASA partnered with Bemer for 6 years to put it in the undergarments of the astronaut.
That tells you something.
Yeah.
Well, Casey, thank you so much for
having
me. I'm excited to have my own story about these mats. But thank you, and I will also include a link to the book
Yeah, it's on
so they
Amazon.
can get the book and a link to you. You can, like I said, Casey's got her wellness center here, over here in Dandridge, Tennessee, and so I'll put a link to how you can reach Casey.
Well, we do a lot of long distance work with people, a lot.
Mhm.
So there's literally like other countries. I was on this morning with someone from England. So
They,
no limitations.
no limitations. No, they have so much going on here. So many good things. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today on GPS Your Health. If this episode encouraged you, brought you clarity, or helped you just feel a little less alone on your journey, I invite you to share it with someone who may need the same hope. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it with others. It helps this message reach more people who are searching for answers. You can also connect with me beyond the podcast by visiting my website and joining me on Facebook and Instagram for more encouragement, resources, and guidance on your healing journey. Remember, you don't have to navigate your health alone. God sees you, He cares about every detail, and He is guiding you toward healing, one step at a time. If you are ready for support in finding the right doctor or exploring the next step in your healing journey, be sure to connect with me and check out the resources in the show notes. Until next time, stay the course.